All right, let's get started. So first off, I'm well aware that I separate you and lunch. I know you might be very hungry, but hopefully this will give you something to talk about over lunch with your colleagues about how you deal with cloud workloads, how you deal with problems in the cloud, how you deal with cloud control and cloud visibility. In a few moments, I'm going to ask, well, in a short time, I'm going to ask Vijay from Singtel to come on stage and talk about how they are dealing with cloud technology sprawl and how they're dealing with cloud issues and with cloud migrations. But first, I'm just going to go through a few trends that you probably already know, and that is that things are changing, and things are changing quickly, or digital worlds are changing quickly. Whether that be from DevOps to containers to cloud, all of these things are happening, all of them are interconnected and all happening all at once. You know, the business wants to innovate quicker, so we adopt things like DevOps. With DevOps, we use microservices, so we use containers, and then we want to have them on dynamic environments, so we use cloud. All of these things are happening, and all the things you have to deal with. And we all know that actually our UI, we spend a lot of time on to make it intuitive, easy to use, and easy to visualize. But technically, behind all of that, there's a lot of technology. There's a lot of technology sprawl. There is a lot of things that all have to come together to make your application and digital services do what they're supposed to do. So the question then becomes is how do we maintain visibility of that? How do we control that sprawl? How do we deal with issues when we get them in production environments? I watched a presentation yesterday and they said, the tagline was that you can't manage what you can't measure. And that's exactly right, really. And the way that we used to do these things, we used to deploy things like APM. So we'd have multiple agents everywhere. We'd have Java agents, we'd have .NET agents, we'd have PHP agents. Each one would have to be deployed, configured, and maintained individually. And that was okay when we had kind of static infrastructure and static applications. But now with dynamic infrastructure, with dynamic and microservices, an application architecture can look very different from 9 o'clock in the morning till 10 o'clock in the morning. It changes all the time, so we can't really keep up with those agents approaches. When they did work, when we did get some the agents out there, we'd get a mountain of data. We'd get lots and lots of data from these things, but no real answers. So we were left with dashboarding, and we'd create lots and lots and lots of dashboards everywhere. We'd have dashboards up around the office, and we'd chart metrics, and we'd say, all right, these two metrics are spiking together. Looks like they're correlated. Invariably wasn't the case. And then we also had lots of tools for everything. We had maybe a tool for logs, and a tool for APM, and a tool for end user experience. And we'd try and patch these together, or we'd get something else like a manager of managers where we'd build a model and try and feed all this data in and try and eliminate false positives. But when the application changes quickly, then we have to go back and re-update the model, and it just wasn't scalable. We couldn't keep up. So we've taken a different approach from that. What we wanted to do is start with answers. So we use an AI to give us some answers in Dynatrace. We use a deterministic, causation-driven AI model, which we then can feed in. We can layer in the application performance monitoring metrics, the digital experience. We can do things like AI ops, so feeding any other data from CloudWatch and the like into, as well as your cloud infrastructure. All of those things we can actually push into the AI. So this is exactly how Dynatrace works, really. We have an AI engine, we call it Davis. You can actually chat to Davis, you can talk to Davis if you like, or you can chat to it if you hook it up to something like Slack. But sitting beneath Davis is a model, an auto-discovered, an auto-maintained model of your environment, which we call the Smartscape. Now the Smartscape contains all of the interdependencies of your environment, whether that be from host to host, if you have them, whether that be from process to process, from service to application to application. You know, the full vertical dependency model and the horizontal, so the transaction flows throughout your environment. That model is built by using an agent. Now, I said earlier there was multiple agents, you know, Java, .NET, PHP agents. We've done away with that. It's not scalable. We just have one agent. We call it the one agent. Literally, all you have to do is install that on whether you're using infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, container as a service, function as a service. That is then responsible for gathering all of the topology, the events, the metrics, the behavior that we feed into that model, to the Smartscape. In addition, we can send in other data as well. So we can hook in and grab all of your CloudWatch metrics, populate that into that model. Any other third-party data that will enrich that model of your environment so the AI knows about what it's dealing with. So then we can pose questions to the AI. We can get answers and actions out of it. Questions like, do I have anything to worry about? Posed as, are there any problems right now? If there are problems, are my users impacted? Do I have any business impact? And then going further is saying, well, really, if I do have a problem, what's the root cause? These are the fundamental questions we're going to answer with Dynatrace just right out of the box. The reason being is that we don't want you guys to spend time monitoring. If you're spending time monitoring your environment, then you're not innovating. And a minute spent on monitoring is a minute away from innovation. Now, sometimes it's a lot easier just to see it rather than it is to actually talk about it. So I'm just going to give you a quick 5-minute demo of what you'd get out of Dynatrace as soon as you turn it on. So this is Dynatrace. Like I said, you can talk to Dynatrace. If you hook it up to your Alexa device, you can chat to it. If you hook it up to things like Slack, then you can just chat to it online. Other integrations are available. But I'm going to use the old-fashioned way and just use a browser. So I'm going to take you into something what we call problems. Problems are insights into your environment of issues that are happening within there. You get a few things with a problem, as soon as this loads. Things like what applications are being impacted. Now with this one I can see this problem is actually closed, it's actually been resolved. I can tell that because the bar across the top is grey. If it was active right now it would be red. But it's telling me how long it was active for, and it's also saying it was actually impacting real users. And that finishes loading. So we can see from business impact actually how many users are impacted by this issue at the time it was happening. So ask yourself that when you're investigating problems in production, how do you figure out how many users are impacted? A lot of our customers used to say, well, we've got 60,000 users registered, so all of them? Invariably not the case. But this will tell you how many users are actually impacted by an issue. Further, we go into the applications that are impacted. So we see we've got 3 applications in part of this problem that are impacted. So what it's telling me is, how did this problem manifest itself to the end user? So this is a slowdown, but it could be an error, it could be an issue, any other issue. It's slowed down from about a half a second to over 25, so it's quite a significant slowdown. It's also giving me details about, it doesn't matter what browser the user used, or the operating system, or the geolocation, every single user was impacted from whatever device they were using. But it's telling me that actually there's only 2 user actions that are actually impacted. So all the different user actions a user can do, only 2 of them actually impacted. Now I could drill down in here and tell you the user actions and tell you in detail who the users that were actually impacted, but I'm not going to do that. So what I want to focus on in this one is actually show on this side of the screen is the root cause. So the root cause, so what the AI has done is we've detected we have this problem, we detected the anomaly, then the AI is actually using that model to go down, filter out all the transactions, go down the model, and work out where I need to go to fix this particular issue. And to do that, it's actually done just over 1.1 billion dependencies have been analyzed to figure out where I need to go to fix this problem. And what it's saying, the top thing it's saying is a check destination custom service. This is my custom code. This is one of our code modules that's actually responsible for this issue. So I don't need to go to my network guys or to my server guys or to my database guys or to any other team. I just need to find the team responsible for this particular component, and they can then drill into here and find really, really deep. They can go down to like the method level visibility of what's actually gone wrong within that particular module. Now, I'm not going to go that level in this demo, but if you want to see that, then come and see us afterwards. We can show you the depths we can get to. In addition, what it's telling me is actually this check destination service is actually causing the infrastructure to go CPU bound as well. Now, what we can use that for is things like self-remediation. So we know that this is a code level issue. We can't fix it per se, but we could mitigate it, we could mediate it. So we could maybe spin up another instance, spread the load across, would stop the impact on the end users, but would then wait for a code fix to roll forward and address the issue properly. In addition, what you will get in a problem is what we call the visual resolution path. So what tends to happen when we get issues in production is lots of things will start eventing and alerting traditionally. And then traditionally it was up to the ops guys to figure out, well, oh, I've got all these events or I've got all these emails. Which one of these emails is actually the root cause? Well, we've already got that. We had that on the previous screen. We know where it is. But it doesn't mean that everything else hasn't started alerting and saying there was problems, there was problems, there was problems. That's what the AI has done. It's reduced that noise. So all of these other components were actually impacted as part of the same issue, but they were symptoms of an underlying cause. And it's filtered out all of these events that we see down the right here. They were saying that all of those components are actually the same part of the same issue. So we can integrate this with something like ServiceNow into the CMDB, so we can tell everybody that actually you're impacted, but you're not the root cause. We're actually addressing that as a part of something else. I'm just going to show you something else just rather quickly. If I can. This is what the Smartscape looks like that sits beneath it. Like I said, this is automatically discovered by Dynatrace. By just dropping those agents into the infrastructure, to the platforms, it will discover the entire model automatically. It will keep this maintained automatically. So if something new comes in, it will drop it in. If something old drops out, then it will drop it out. It's already automatically up to date. And you can use this for, like I say, for populating CMDBs. There's lots of other information we can get and some other use cases. If you want to see them, then obviously come and see us afterwards. We can give you a more detailed insights into what's possible. So I'm now just going to flick back to the slides. I've just got one. I just like to leave you with one slide. Up there. So, nope. Why is that not working? There we go. All right. So remember that visual resolution pass I showed you with all the things going red and the events down the right-hand side? Well, this is what it looks like when you're talking enterprise-size environments. This is an example from a customer. It wasn't Singtel, but another customer. It's actually a Kubernetes environment, running obviously containers, so there's lots of stuff built on containers. And it gets kind of unreadable, which is fine. What we actually have got here is down the bottom, we've got our hosts in there. And towards the middle, there's containers and the processes, and then at the top, there's all applications and services. But even so, Dynatrace has already done the work, gone through it all. It's actually analyzed 820 billion dependencies to figure out where the root cause is. Now, imagine trying to do that well. If you want to do that manually, I don't know, good luck, perhaps. All right, so now I'd like to introduce Vijay to the stage. He's going to take you through on how they are dealing with cloud complexity. Thank you.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. Can you all hear me? Yeah? So, my name is Vijay, and I work as a cloud evangelist at Singtel Group. So, I'm sure most of you know who Singtel Group is, but I see a lot of people from other countries attending this summit, so I'm just going to give a quick introduction of who Singtel Group is. We are Asia's leading largest communication group, and we provide a lot of comprehensive services to our customers across digital, TV, mobile, internet, and infocom, and many more services. A lot of our customers today leverage our comprehensive solutions across cloud consulting, hosting, and many more IT-enabled services. And we have been enabling and having customers across the region over the last 140 years. And we have and our solutions are being backed by a strong data and voice network, which is helping our customers to span across key countries in the region. And as of today, we have over 75 offices across 30 countries. So in today's talk, I'm going to talk about the challenges that we faced as we embarked a cloud journey. This is going to internally as we transformed our application modernization and the complexities that we dealt with as we went on the journey. So the three main challenges that we faced around the complexity of the landscape, the productivity and multiple tools that we used, which I'm going to share about with you guys in the next few minutes. So as a traditional telco, we have been having a very complex application landscape to support our business. And over the last few years, we decided to journey to embark to the cloud, and we started evaluating and identifying workloads that we could help move. And as a part of as we launched a lot of new services to support our businesses, we kind of led to a great infrastructure sprawl, and which kind of ran into the hybrid mode. And unfortunately, our current data set, the current monitoring tool sets, as we extended it to support the new world, were unable to support our business needs. And unfortunately, most of the times, we were kind of blindsided, especially when we had system breakdown and other application performance issues. We were really wanted to enhance our experience, but I think the things all went down southward. And the challenge was not just the landscape, it was also with multiple tools. As Kevin pointed out earlier, we had too many agents, too many systems to monitor the application performance. In fact, we had invested in best of the tools back in the days, but the challenge was they did give us a lot of data when we needed to, but it never gave us the answers. So in fact, we had tools like UEM for user experience management, we had AppMon for digital transactions, we had DC-ROM for network monitoring, and we also used the best of the industry standards from HP for monitoring everything else. But the problem was the tools that we had only gave us the best only in the siloed views. We were unable to see the big picture, especially when we had our application degradation problem. And it's just not with tools, right? It's also with, sorry, did I? So it's just not with tools, but it also was with the other processes around the technology. We were trying to identify, build a business case of how much we've spent on investing the tools in terms of buying, procuring the new hardware, new software, licenses, going through renewing just to keep the lights on. And in addition to that, we also spent significant amount of time on our resources and people just to learn the new products and technology. But then we realized this wasn't giving us anywhere of what we wanted. And this tool set did not help us to support the new world. And that's when we decided to do a TCO to really look at how much we're spending. And we realized that we were burning close to millions of dollars just on keeping the lights on. So obviously, as technology plays a role with the limited data and information, it also impacted our team's productivity. The team, as I said, had lots of data. Team spent analyzing logs throughout, spending a lot of time understanding the logs, trying to dig out. But unfortunately, we were never able to get to the root cause of the issue as to what exactly. And then most of the cases, the answers were just by restarting the application servers. But we all know that restarting the application servers may resolve the problem, but it's not what we wanted. That's when we realized that as we continued to ramp up our cloud journey, we decided that we had to rationalize and completely transform and modernize our application toolset to help us support our business needs in the new world. And that's where the Dynatrace new platform helped us. We kind of evaluated multiple tool sets, and we was not surprised to see that the Dynatrace new platform passed all our evaluation criteria. So we had very simple criteria where we wanted to see a complete visibility of the data using a single platform across the entire application stack. And also be able to identify the dependencies between the different components of our applications, which we were unable to do so in the previous world. So today, the success factors were defined as to improve productivity, reduce cost, and be more agile to support the business needs. So when we ran a small POC with a small set of internal workloads within our Singtel group, internal IT, we were able to see the benefits, especially when we started rolling this out against Singtel Shop, My Singtel and some internal apps like Pegasus and Spear, which we use it for internal purposes to onboard new customers. The results were very transformational, and Dynatrace tool helped us to stop fighting gravity because we were now able to see a complete picture, have a complete visibility, and we were able to even optimize the user experience. And the beauty of this tool was it did not require much of configuration and stuff from us. We just had to deploy it, and it was as simple as plug and play. We were able to discover and identify a new world which we were never able to see before. Today, Dynatrace helps us providing complete transparency across our digital and mobile workloads. It's able to help us discover 2 million application dependencies across our billing and customer care systems, Spring Digital, which is 100% all-in on AWS, and across some of the provisioning systems. And we are providing real-time information to protect and analyze and proactively detect and resolve problems across this to continually ensure that when customers or consumers like you who are using these applications, we provide you a continual experience to ensure that things go without a risk. Last year, while we were rolling out, there was one particular incident we remember where we used Dynatrace extensively across the iPhone launch. When Apple announced the new iPhone and we started the pre-ordering systems, we used the Dynatrace tool where it was able to proactively identify and resolve issues even on the client side. So the team was able to then quickly make the relevant changes and go back and help overcome the issues when compared to the old days where the team was spending hours together resolving the logs. So what did it lead us to? Did it give us what we wanted? Absolutely yes. The results were really surprising to us. We were able to reduce the cost and effort by up to 80%. We were able to discover 2 million dependencies across a complex application portfolio within a day, which would have been impossible in the past based on the tools that we had. And it just needed a day. In fact, not even a day. It just took us a few hours to actually discover the entire visibility of this. So today, from our experience of using Dynatrace, I'm proud to say that it's helped us to provide a consistent view to support our business outcomes. And we have the intentions of not only rolling Dynatrace not just across to digital mobile, but also start to use it across our other portfolios to ensure that we're able to visualize, analyze, and proactively resolve to support our business outcomes. So that's all I had to say to share about the Singtel story. With this, I pass it back to Kevin. Thank you very much for taking your time and listening to me. I hope you have a great day.
Thanks, man. Thanks very much, Vijay. Okay, just a last couple of things. Thank you very much for listening. If you'd like to come and see us and learn about a bit more, we are actually, I'll be around, so will Vijay be around on the Singtel booth. We've got booth number 5 for Dynatrace. If you want to give this a go, if you don't really believe what I said is true, go for a free trial and try it yourself. It'll set you up with your own environment. You'll be done in about 5 minutes. If you want to connect with us, then please do so. One final thing is if you are starting your migration to the cloud, if you want to kickstart your migration to the cloud, come and chat to us. We have 5,000 AWS credits. We can work with you. So thank you very much for listening. I hope this has been insightful, and enjoy your lunch. Thank you very much.